Hello again. Asian Expat Chronicles. Hmm. Now what is that? Who is that? It is a very slick video. It's an AI generated chronicles about one particular person. It's a personal attack on one particular channel. It worries me that in the Philippines that there is a culture out there, more and more so now, of taking on anybody and anybody who chooses to give information about their lives and the experiences that they've had. Whether we like what they have to say or not really is up to the individual viewer. After all, we can all just press the button. But I'm afraid today I'm going to stick up for Americans in general, because it doesn't mean I have to like the channel that they're attacking. It doesn't mean I have to go along with everything that is exposing by that channel to us, the viewer. But what does concern me is that I am who I am. They are who they are. But they have community standards here. And I just wonder if that's not also one of those things that the community standard is supposed to be protecting us all from. If I choose to tell you that I was a former drug addict, or that I was a felon, or whatever they want to call it in America, then I suppose it's fair game for somebody then to highlight that part of my life. But in a very slick way, this video I watched this morning, the latest from that channel I mentioned at the beginning, they're attempting to get that channel not only shut down, but the individual blacklisted here in the Philippines, so he cannot return. They talk about his live-in partner, girlfriend, whatever she is. It doesn't matter what her marital status is. She's his partner. It doesn't matter if he's in the US or here. He's providing what has been, over the years that I've been watching, interesting comment and interesting commentary. I don't agree with everything he has to say, but then many don't agree with what I have to say either, or any of the other channels, come to think of it. It's there for the viewer to make up their mind whether they think what we've experienced as individuals here in the Philippines, or what we're proceeding to experience being here. For them to make up their mind whether that fits in their way of thinking. But what is dangerous now is that with the advent of artificial intelligence, in other words, having ghostwriters, computers coming up with very slick presentations, and there's no doubt, coupled with wonderful views of the Philippines and the culture, to suggest that somehow one person out of all of the people who talk about the culture as a foreigner are all being disrespectful, all being manipulative, have traits of grandeur, all these kinds of things that they claim that they see in his presentations. I think it's a very hard stretch to follow. They suggest that legal scholars have looked at their situation. What legal scholars? Name them. Name the source. Do they tell you all that's going on? Why is there a petition to get this guy kicked out of the country? He's not even here at the moment, but to stop him coming back. If he's not breaking any laws here, then that's fine. I understand allegedly he's been giving away money like a prize for, I don't know, whatever, the best idea or whatever it is. Yes, you have to be careful when you do that because there are laws about lotteries, there are laws about competition. You have to be licensed even in Australia or New Zealand or England. You have to have a license number to do so. And I would imagine there's certain requirements for you to do that on a regular basis. You even just to run a little, what do they call it, a bingo hall in England or Australia. You have to be licensed to do that. Now, if he's done something like that, it's perceived as like that, then he needs to be told, he needs to be advised, and no doubt he would stop doing it. But what does alarm me is that these channels are popping up all over the place now. AI, somebody else's voice generated, somebody else's identity hidden in the name of a channel. Why not come out and say, yes, I'm James Smith, or I'm William Curtis, whatever you want to call yourself, and be accountable for your accusations. You know, in the real world, you can't really get away with saying things that maybe are only half-truths. To suggest that one man can change the perception of a culture in a country is ridiculous. He's not Enoch Powell. He's not Adolf Hitler or anybody else in the world that some disagree with their ways of thinking. And I'm sure there are plenty. My choice of examples maybe aren't the best, but what I'm saying to you is, if somebody says that we are seen as an ATM by many foreigners, by many Filipino, that is a fact, that it's inevitable that we will be seen as somebody with money. Hence the comment, we are just ATMs. To suggest that we have a, what do they call it, a transactional relationship? Everybody's relationship is transactional if you look at it in its direct form. We get married in England, we get married in Australia. She marries us because we are a good catch, because we have a good job, because we're going to be able to afford to buy a new home maybe, and a nice car, and bring our children up in a nice way. Is it wrong to suggest that by coming here and marrying a Filipina that we're exploiting them? Is it right that we should suggest that, or wrong? We do pick on people. We pick on stereotypes, that's true. But we are here as guests in their country, and we have to be wary of individuals who hide behind AI and now start attacking different channels on the grounds that they're somehow the moral high ground of the internet. I'm sure if YouTube was aware that there are infringements of the law, there are infringements of community standards, they would act, and they have acted in the past, to many channels, shutting them temporarily, warning them, and basically being what they are supposed to be doing, is monitoring what goes on their airwaves. But it is particularly disturbing to see what next. Are we going to attack Filipino P? Are we going to attack Tim K? Are we going to attack smaller channels? After all, what is changing the culture? Who is changing the culture. Western culture changes Asian culture if it wants to be changed. At the moment, the biggest buzzword in the Philippines is anything Korean. Korean culture is not Filipino culture. But my own stepdaughters watch lots and lots of Korean videos. They love them. They love the songs. They love the look, the fashion. Is that wrong? Are you going to now suggest that Filipinos can't make their own mind up what they want to take from the good of the West and incorporate in their way of life? Cultures do change. As they say, a language is lost every day. Maybe. You know, I watched a video yesterday, a Filipino video. I didn't understand any of the language except little bits of English. But they go and explore outlying islands right up to the edge of Malaysia. And some of those islands have only got less than 200 people on them. And they don't even speak Tagalog. They speak a language that they need an interpreter to interpret the interviewer so that he can talk to the people on the island themselves and ask questions. So when that island, of course, gets either no longer able to support life through being either overpopulated or just simply dying out, do we then suggest that the West has caused all of this? Should we do that? I don't think so. That is evolution itself. Languages die, new languages are created. In the Philippines, the English language is not normal to them. It came at a cost. America came here. They wanted them to speak to the Americans. They learned English. Somebody decided that the English language should be used in legal terms also. Somebody decided that the newspapers would be printed in English here. Are we going to now suggest that that is changing the culture of the Philippines? I don't think so. It's enriching the culture. It incorporates Western ideas with cultural norms. To live in a Philippine province, away, way, way away from a big city, away from a big town, the culture of that village, that hamlet, is going to be so different from that of even the nearby town. Some people have never even left a square kilometre of where they were brought up in. So to have some Westerner do a video challenging another individual from the West, an American, I think it's a bit rich and dangerous. Dangerous for YouTube and dangerous for other expats to speak their own mind about what they're experiencing here within a relationship. I'm sure that not everybody will experience what I've experienced, but some will have experienced some of what I've experienced. What I've experienced is par for the course. What I experienced before in the West with my wives, again, par for the course. After all, divorce is high in the West, and I'm sure separation, and if it were legal here, divorce would be just as high, if not higher, here in the Philippines. And I base that upon the number of single people or separated people that I've come across in the last 10 years here. So guys, I think we should all bandy together to try and discourage this kind of Jerry Springer kind of attack by individuals that are not prepared to put their name, their real name, attached to a channel so that we know whose points of view these are. They're not yours and mine necessarily. They may partly be, but they're not totally. So there he is pointing the finger or she is pointing the finger. Maybe it's a she. Who knows? We don't know. But what we do know is that what is happening here on YouTube so often now, and especially with AI, we're hiding behind a big wall, a wall that we might think is there to enlighten us, to make life easier, but it's making life more secret and more difficult and more alarming than we may think. So let's stand up once and for all channels, whether we like them or not, for their right to at least tell us their story. And let's not hide behind somebody else's name, calling ourselves whatever we want to in a channel. I mean, I call myself a British expat in the Philippines. What am I? I'm a British expat living in the Philippines. The other channel that we run is a grumpy Brit in the Philippines. Again, it's a name, but you know I'm me. You know who I am. I don't hide my name. I don't hide my comments. What I do is I fairly look at the comments that are made on the channel and I decide myself whether that's the kind of comment that is worthy to be on this channel. So, you see, I'm not always against Americans, but I wonder if it's an American attacking another American doing this. Maybe it's somebody who he's upset. Maybe it's somebody who's trying to get even with a guy called Roach. See, I named him. You know who I'm talking about now. Some of us have watched, supported, and left, and gone back. But it's still Sunshine's shoulders. Leave him alone. Let him sort his own life out. If he does something wrong, he has to wear that. He has to apologize if there's a need to. But just remember, he's also got a woman here in the Philippines, a Filipino, with child. What are you doing to her by attacking her man? Think twice, guys. Come out of the shadows and name who you are. Let us at least see who's making these accusations. Okay? If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye now.